Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. Don't let my tie scare you. Andy's got a snow day, so I've got the rundown. And coming up on today's show, we have Don Carlson. He's with Survey Research Systems, and what they do is polling, so he knows all that's going on beneath the surface. Plus, Robin Mercer Levy. She's running for Don Gibbons' seat in the Assembly. She'll be on the program to give us her views. And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Mendy, Elliott, Jason Geddes, George Peak, and Chris Wicker. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch us straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you. Yeah!
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by phone today by Don Carlson, who heads up Survey Research Systems. It's a polling company and based in Carson City, Nevada, and very well respected nationally. Don, welcome to the program. You know, it seems it would be very easy to say that John Kerry has the nomination wrapped up, but is that truly the case with Super Tuesday coming?
Well, I think it would take an extraordinary event to alter the pattern that is pretty self-evident at this point. You know, anything, of course, can happen in politics, but I think Kerry's got the nomination.
All right, so let's talk about you know, something that's been talked about a little bit so far, which is potential vice presidents, and do they truly make a difference?
Well, I think first of all, the review is what is, if any downside does an individual bring to a ticket? Potentially, is there any upside? And I suppose lastly, the concept of compatibility, and that always isn't necessary, but I think that's kind of an ideal. I would assume that, you know, Senator Edwards and Congressman Gephardt have to be seriously considered by Kerry.
Really? Gephardt?
Yes.
But he did so miserably in the primaries.
Well, I understand that.
Despite huge labor support.
But I understand that, but I think part of the Kerry consideration is how do we get 270 electoral votes, and if they conclude that the Rust Belt is vulnerable, then Gephardt's status, I would argue, would increase.
Okay, and any other potential choices that you might think of?
Well, I think obviously one consideration would be Governor Bill Richardson of New Mexico.
He's been begging for this, correct?
Yes. And then I think another strategic consideration might be the 5 southern Senate seats as well as some southern states. And I don't know if he would want the job, but I still think Senator Sam Nunn would be an ideal vice presidential candidate with Kerry for certain strategic goals.
That would be a very interesting choice, but would Sam Nunn want it?
Well, frankly, he might prefer to be Secretary of Defense rather than Vice President, and frankly, he might not want to return to public life. But I think Senator Nunn would be, frankly, I think he would probably be the strongest vice presidential candidate of the 4 that I discussed.
Okay, you know, I'm seeing advertising buys being placed for the Bush-Cheney campaign, but there were also been comments that perhaps Cheney won't be running. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I suspect that if President Bush continues to decline or trail in national surveys, I fully anticipate the probability that he's going to repackage his administration, and the repackaging of his administration may include a new vice presidential candidate. Bush has an advantage. The national convention for the Republican Party is until the 30th of August, and that's a month later than the Democrats. So he has time in that sense on his side.
Well, we know that Colin Powell has already said that he's not going to continue on as Secretary of State. Who else do you anticipate might be moving?
Well, I think it's possible that President Bush could either accept some retirements or he could be bold and, quote, fire some people. And I wonder about the vulnerability, frankly, of George Tenet, the CIA director, as one of the first symbols of a repackaged administration.
Well, that one would certainly make sense just because of all the brouhaha. But I mean, do you see somebody like Donald Rumsfeld, for example, any potential for him to be moving out?
Well, today, I suppose I would be inclined to say no. I think that position is too critical for a change unless there is something major that we are not familiar with.
Okay, isn't one of the problems though of repackaging your administration is if you're running on your record, and so if you're getting rid of people that have helped you to get where you are, doesn't that look bad as far as the opposition is concerned for them to go after you on that?
Well, you have to have some very good spin doctors to help you with it. But when you're trailing, as he presently is, by 10 to 12 points, even trailing, as I understand it, Senator Edwards by 10 points.
All right, well, yeah, but Don, let's take something into consideration here. $200 million for the primary, and the money's going to start being spent next week. In the meantime, we've had groups like MoveOn.org who have been running very negative ads against the Bush administration, and of course all the Democrats going after the Bush administration as well. Doesn't that make a huge difference as well, and doesn't that allow the president to start catching up rather quickly?
I think that's a factor, but my sense today, Bush's major problem is what I would call a credibility problem. And I'm not certain that that can be resolved with $200 million.
Not even with the fact that this administration, even more so than the Clinton administration, has put President Bush into every perfect situation for photo opportunities just so they would have all this footage for the campaign, including that famous shot on Thanksgiving Day of him going through Iraq with the turkeys.
Yes, I understand that, but
don't think it'll matter?
I think one of the dangers of the Bush people is to rerun the 1992 or the 2000 election this year.
Well, on that, I would certainly agree with you. Don Carlson, thanks so much for being here. We'll check back with you along the way. Back on Nevada Newsmakers after this timeout.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Robin Mercer Levy. She's running in Assembly District 25, one of 3 Republicans that are running in the seat, which Ande tells me could be decided in the primary.
That's exactly right. It definitely could be, couldn't it?
Sure could.
So far, no Democrat has indicated that they want to run for this seat. So if that's
And it's
the
currently
case,
Dawn
then
Gibbons' seat.
Dawn Gibbons, and she's giving up her seat. So let's get a little background on you, Robin. You've been involved in politics 6 years here in Nevada.
6 years in Nevada and 3 years in Washington, D.C. In the Senate, I was there for a year. I was in the White House with Dan Quayle in his office in 1992.
You weren't the one who told him how to spell potato.
I did. I wasn't there then.
Okay.
And then in 93, I worked for a lobbyist on Capitol Hill.
So you've really got it from both sides.
Yes.
Okay, but you've only been in Reno a brief time, is that right?
I've been in Nevada since '98. John Ensign recruited me here in the Ensign-Reed election, and I was his finance director and helped also Kenny Gwynn in that election as well, because I served 2 purposes working for the Nevada Republican Party, helping both campaigns. But yes, you're right. I actually chose to move to Reno when my husband, who's a Reno native, asked me to marry him 2 years ago. So
and his name is?
Robert Levy.
And he does what for a living?
He works in investments for the Whittier Trust Company of Nevada.
Okay, let me ask you, let's start out, why do you want to run for this seat? What do you think you can do?
I think that my experience really will help AD 25. I have the relationships in the statewide. I've helped a lot of people get elected, so therefore I know them personally, and I feel that, especially being in the North now, we need somebody who can work statewide, who knows the process. We're losing experience. We need somebody who can get in there.
Okay, but what do you stand for?
All right, where do you stand on taxes, for instance?
Well, unlike my opponents, I am completely against a gross receipts tax. I have been, as a constituent, I was against it, and I have been since day one of my campaign.
All right, what about the payroll tax?
Payroll tax, I think, is a fairer tax. I don't think it jeopardizes our business climate the way gross receipts tax would, but I agree with Lynn Hetrick in the first thing you need to do is analyze the budget, and you need to really look at where we're spending this money and come up with a bottom line number to not burden people and not put them out of business.
So will you vote for new taxes in the next, if you're elected?
I pray that the economy will make up that shortfall that we could experience.
Where do you stand on the med-mal issue? And that has to do with medical malpractice. And there's a ballot question also on the ballot.
Yes, there is, and I look forward to see what the voters decide in that regard. But also, I think medical malpractice is a multifaceted issue. Unlike my opponent, it's not just about affordability for doctors. As we learned today and over the weekend in the newspaper, it's about accountability too. I mean, we could have, one of the good reasons that we could have high medical malpractice premiums is because we don't have a medical board that's policing our industry well enough. And we have to protect.
And do you work in the medical field?
No, my father-in-law is a neurosurgeon here. He's been practicing in Reno since the 60s, Dr. Levy. So
I mean in his card later. Education first. Where do you stand on that?
I support the Givens Initiative. I have a master's degree in developmental psychology, which I worked with Down syndrome children in the area of educational psychology, and I volunteer once a week at Huffaker School in the Read to Succeed program. So I am a proponent for education, especially public education. These children are our future, and this is their chance.
What about higher pay for teachers?
I think that as many dollars as we can get into the classroom, we have got to do that. We have got to start.
In the form of pay for teachers or in the form of teachers' needs?
I think both, frankly. I'm tired of hearing that teachers are having to use, I see it. I see Pam Alvey, who I volunteer in her class, she and I both buy school supplies. I bring in books, she brings in books.
Where are you going to get the money?
Well, we'll just have to continue. I mean, I haven't been in the legislature yet. I would like to see those budgets. I would like to analyze those budgets. I would like to have accountability for what's going on up there. And you know, we have got to start looking at what's our priorities. And at the moment, we do spend a good amount of each general fund dollar on education. Let's see, maybe there's some areas that we could get some more money, you know, each year into that area.
Okay. Well, I certainly.
And you don't want to ask her about the open meeting law?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Where do you stand on the open meeting law and some of the current circumstances?
And proposals to make it tougher?
I support Attorney General Sandoval, and we've got to have stricter penalties for people that are in violation of this open meeting law. I was his deputy campaign manager, and this was one of our main issues on the campaign.
But what about also making the law a bit tougher as far as not just in that area, but in other areas?
Definitely. It's okay. There, as you said, they're there to protect us. It's public information, of course. Yes, we all should.
Okay, last question, Yucca Mountain.
Is that because I lived in the South?
Just because you're going to be?
No, we're going to ask that of everybody.
We just want to know what you think of it.
Unfortunately, I think that we probably will see it come to Nevada. Do I want to see it come to Nevada? No. Will I continue to fight? Yes. I think we should continue the fight. Working with Brian in that last campaign, he vowed to fight for us and to use state rights as his legal basis, and I agree with him 100%. I think we should.
Okay, Robin Mercer Levy, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
We'll look forward to the campaign. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
The Abowd family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Newsmakers, we're joined on our pundit panel today by Jason Geddes, who's an Assemblyman, George Peak with ERGS Inc., Chris Wicker, who's the chairman of the Washoe County Democratic Party, and Mendy Elliott of Wells Fargo. Okay, Mendy, I'm going to start with you. I want to go back to what Don was talking about with the negatives that President Bush has, but I say $200 million is a lot of money in advertising and promotion and marketing.
It is a lot of money to get the word out. I tell you, they're gonna come out with a bang. I feel it. Probably your station's probably already heard from them about placing advertisement. It's going to be, and I think
across the country, that's for sure.
Across the country, it's they've just been waiting.
Well, I have to tell you, Sam. I think that George Bush's tax cuts for the wealthy and benefits for corporations have really paid off for him, because he's getting, $200 million. That's his target. He's already got $140 million of it, and he's not going to have any trouble meeting $200 million, because it's one heck of an investment if you get a $100,000 tax cut to give $4,000 or $6,000 to the campaign. So he's not going to have any trouble raising that money, and his tax cuts are really going to pay off for his campaign.
And I think those numbers are really going to turn around once he starts getting out the message. And it is a lot of money. It does allow you to get your message out to everybody. But once he's able to start defending himself, he's just been taken on the chin from the candidates in the Democratic primary. And once he starts getting his message out, those numbers will turn around.
John Ensign had an editorial in this morning's Gazette-Journal where he was mad about the amount of money being spent in Congress. But the bottom line is that the Congress is Republican-controlled, and the president is signing all these bills and spending all this money. Are you seeing the split that I'm seeing in the Republican Party of fiscal conservatives and the rest of the party?
Yes. But you just have to determine what sort of country you want it to be, and I think you set the priorities out. One of the biggest items you got there is the military budget, and I mean, it's easy for us to second guess and question the budget and look at things now,
but in there. The Iraqi budget and Afghanistan budget is not in the official budget at this point.
Well, and the Bush military budget is now the one proposed exceeds, in real dollars, exceeds any military budget during the Cold War, when we were anticipating fighting the Soviet Union on the plains of Europe. And so I think there is a whole lot of fat in there.
Have you annualized that, though? Have you annualized that?
Yeah, I'm talking about in real dollars. In real dollars.
But I mean,
that's not even counting.
But I mean, from an annualized from when you're talking the 60s versus the date today, I mean.
Well, that's what I mean. If you bring
from an inflationary standpoint,
if you bring those $60 up to apples and apples,
but you look at what the equipment that we've brought in to do that and to fight the war, and that's what kept our casualties so low.
The technology,
plus those
information that we have continuously.
Well, I think the point really is that Bush's economy, his economic policy, is just completely out of control. It's
prosperity is really good. I mean, you hear what Greenspan has to say. We're in good shape,
except for jobs. The jobs aren't coming up.
He has somewhat of a concern about Social Security in the last 24 hours.
Well, he has a huge concern about the deficit.
Yes, he has.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, and if you the tax cut, what I've heard, is about a third of the deficit. So if you just reduce the tax cut to the wealthy, that's 40 or 70% of the tax cut. If you eliminate that, you're going to really help the deficit situation.
If you tax those who create the jobs, you're not going to have the jobs.
Oh, come on. We're talking about 39% versus 35.5%. You're saying that that's going to make a difference on people that create the jobs? I don't think it does. When those taxes, before the tax cut, this country had the best economy pretty much in history for the longest period of time. After the tax cuts, we've had the worst economy.
We also had a major change in geopolitical, the scenario that's out there. I mean, 9/11 changed everything. It changed the economy. There was the dot-com bust. It's a different world that he had to deal with. Those tax cuts are necessary for the times. You really can't compare it the straight fiscal policies without factoring in those events.
Well, and it's bringing prosperity.
Oh, I mean, I know that's what George Bush tells us, but all the living Nobel laureates, when those tax cuts were proposed, saying this kind of structure is not good. Now, if you have tax cuts that encourage investment, help small business, help the average American spend the money, yeah. But to just give the vast bulk of the tax cuts to the wealthy, that doesn't create prosperity except among the wealthy, and it certainly creates prosperity in George Bush's campaign finances.
I took my check from my child and went out and bought a new VCR and put it right back into the economy right away, put a little bit into his college trust fund.
With all due respect, I don't think you're wealthy enough to get a $100,000 tax cut.
Okay, let's change topics and come back home here a little bit. We're expecting the Attorney General's decision in the next 24 hours about whether public employees can serve in the legislature. Do you really think, Mendy, that we're going to see the legislature turned upside down because of this issue, with people like Dina Titus and perhaps even Jason being forced to choose between their regular job and serving in the legislature?
Well, unfortunately, we're as you said, we're waiting. We're waiting for this opinion to come out to determine whether or not, are they going to be able to run or not? I mean, it's a double-edged sword. You've got a lot of talent on both sides of the aisle, and it'll have an impact. You have wonderful young freshmen, no longer a freshman, I guess. He's a sophomore. He's a sophomore, like Mr. Geddes here, and it could impact him. That decision. I mean, it's worth watching.
Well, I suspect that the Attorney General's opinion will not be the last word on the subject. In particular, if he comes out with opinion that public employees cannot run for public office, that certainly won't be the last opinion on that subject.
Okay, would you file a lawsuit?
No, I just don't believe in suing one branch government suing the other branch government. I don't believe in any of that. I'm anxiously waiting his opinion. I wake up at 3 in the morning and read the Federalist Papers and anti-Federalist Papers and try and figure out what we meant.
Well, I do believe in it.
That's everybody's reading material for tonight. We'll be back with Nevada Newsmakers right after this. It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis!
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
And barring a major snowstorm, Andy will be back on Monday. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week.